You're listening to Table for Five with Felicia and Annette, only on LA Talk Radio.
Go ahead. Good Monday morning, everyone.
We are live.
We are live this morning. Yes, we are a little bit late. Sorry about that, guys, out there waiting for us in Facebook land. But welcome, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Table for Five. We've got a full table.
Yes, we do.
This morning, guys. Here we are, Monday, March 19th, 2018. You just finished watching a short video of our topic today. Hopefully very powerful.
Yeah.
Hopefully you caught that. If you didn't, you can go back, and I think there was also a link that we posted last week to the video that we just played. Very, very powerful, and that's going to be the basis of our show today. The actual name of our show, we're going to be talking about homelessness and specifically women that are homeless.
Yes.
Today, very powerful show. So go back and look at that video if you have a chance to. But welcome, everyone.
Yes,
This
Monday
beautiful morning. We got a little bit of a slow start, so we're a little bit behind. But catch on up with us, and you can catch us here every Monday from 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
PST in.
And if you guys have or been following us and you have any questions that you want to jump in on the conversation or anything that you want to talk about here in the first few minutes, you know how we do our hot topics. I know some people got like some hot stuff on their mind. Give us a call here at 818-570-5085. Again, 818-570-5085. We already have a caller.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's say.
Well,
let's
there we go.
Him. Good morning, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Welcome to Table for Five.
Good morning. My name is Claudia Perez.
Oh, good morning, Claudia.
Is this Claudia?
Hi.
Hi. How are
Sorry,
you?
I couldn't make it in. I was feeling very sick this morning, but I wanted to call in.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. No worries at all, Claudia. Good morning. Thank you for giving us a call. Claudia was going to be one of our guests, but she's not feeling great this morning. So did you wanna just jump in on the conversation with us here? Do you want to just kind of hang tight? Can you just hang out on the phone with us for a little bit?
Yes, I'll hang tight.
Okay,
great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
We have a full table.
Yes.
A full table of five.
Full table. People here at the table, in studio, out studio. We are just all over the place. So you guys get in on the conversation too. We're on Facebook Live.
Yes, we are.
So jump on there if you have some comments or questions or anything that you want to get started or anything to know about. But first, before we get started, we're going to let you know about our sponsors today. Today's show is being brought to you in part by My Financial Home Enterprise, a global financial consulting firm providing comprehensive accounting, tax, and financial management services. Dr. Cosette M. White coined the financial physician. She is coined the financial physician, diagnoses and provides a cure to eliminate money leaks and income barriers to grow your business's bottom line. You can visit her website at www.myfinancialhome.com for more information. Again, that's www.myfinancialhome, one word.com for
Yeah.
more information. Great, especially around this time of year.
I know.
Tax season is upon us in full swing. I know everyone has lots of questions, so very good resource.
Yes.
Thank you for being our sponsor today.
I know. How wonderful.
Yes.
So we have a couple of hot topics we want to just talk about, and you guys
Yes.
are welcome to chime in.
Yes.
But I just want to just say really quickly, the National School Walkout on Wednesday I thought was very poignant and incredibly successful.
Yes.
I wasn't sure what my son's school was going to do. You know, they kind of didn't say anything to the parents about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly thought they weren't participating.
Mm-hmm.
But to my surprise, on social media, there they were. All the students, I asked Paul, I said, how did this work? They just got up and walked out. Nobody said, okay, let's go. And it wasn't prompted by the teachers. I guess the students were aware. And he says, all of a sudden, he was like wondering, where's everybody going? Where's everybody going?
Oh,
And actually, the teachers rallied around them. They made a big circle. And then the teachers actually made a circle around them, which I thought was kind of, also poignant to the that they have their back kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they were out there for 17 minutes, and then everybody went back to class.
Yeah.
And it was not a big, it wasn't a big fuss.
Right,
People were
right.
saying, oh, you're going to miss school, you're going to interrupt the school day, yada,
Right.
yada. That didn't happen.
Now, were there children, if they chose to not participate,
Oh,
could
yeah.
they stay in class if they wanted to?
Yeah, it
or-
wasn't like class was going on and then
Right.
these kids walked out. The teachers walked out with them,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool.
Yes.
So some kids stayed in the library, Paul said. Some kids just went and, stayed in the class that they were supposed to be in at that moment. It was just very solemn. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a ruckus.
Yeah.
It was very quiet and solemn. And he said they just went out
Yeah.
and no one said a word. It was just
Yeah.
really, really, and I thought that was great. I thought, shout out to, I said in a couple of shows back that I didn't think this was going to change, and you said it
You
will,
did.
yeah, and you said it will because of the students, because it's the kids, it's
Yes.
they're speaking out.
It's their voice.
It's their voice.
And everyone is tired. And I think it's taking these young people and this young generation to say, okay, yeah,
Enough.
we need to do
Yeah.
something. And they're about it. They're like
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like they're like, okay, we're not going to just sit and pray. We're not going to just sit and complain. We're not just going to sit and post on social media how
Right.
mad we are.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to
We're gonna
organize.
do it.
We're going to do something. We're going to get it together. And they gave people a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And there was just so much like controversy
Yeah,
about it.
it was weird.
And
It
I
was-
had to get off of social media because I was like fighting with people that I didn't even know. And I was like, this is really senseless because I don't want to just argue with people for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to sit here and say awful, terrible, nasty things, then you're already in a mindset, in
Yeah.
a place that you don't want to know. You don't want to hear anything. You're not trying to have a dialect about it. You're not trying to have a conversation about it. So I don't even want to like go there with you. But I thought it was, I appreciated the news media's positive coverage about it. I thought that it was great. I liked that they showed all of the different places and the different ways in which different schools decided to show their support and the whole purpose of it.
Yeah.
My children's school did not like officially participate. I didn't really like reach out to them or ask them. It's a private school. So I told my kids, we talked extensively about it. We have been talking about it. And then over the weekend, we talked extensively about it. So, and then the morning of, I kind of woke up with these mixed feelings. I was like, am I putting off my views on my kids? And, like I was just in turmoil. And then I was like, do I want to take them up there? Do I want to take them out of school? I had a conversation on the way to school with them. I said, listen, do you really want to do this morning? Do you want me to come back and pick you up? And I don't want you to say yes just because you think you're going to miss school, because you're going to probably be the only people out of your class.
Yeah, there was
So-
there was another student. I don't know if it was in North Carolina. He was the only
Only
one
student.
out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So. And our school was a private school too. That's why I wasn't sure if they were going to kind of
Yeah.
join in this big voice.
Yeah.
And they did. I
And-
was very surprised.
And my kids were very articulate to why they felt the need to and why they wanted to. And I was like so proud. It was like a proud mommy moment. I almost started crying. I was like, okay. I said, well, if you really want to participate, then I will be there. Or I'll come at because they have like a nutrition time. And then at 10 o'clock is when they're supposed to go back into class. And so I got there a few minutes before and I didn't have any problems. Like no one gave me any problems. I just signed them out. I said they'll be back in about 20 minutes because we were going to do 17 minutes out and then, 2-3 minutes to walk back in. So I took them outside and we just sat in the parking lot. We sat on a bench. We talked about it. We prayed for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting emotional.
Because it's a real thing. It could be your child. There's no exception to this rule. There just isn't. I wrote it in a blog, and I was sharing it with my husband, that the reality is that as parents, we're now a little irresponsible, because when we drop off our kids, we're assuming we're putting them in the safest environment where they are going to go learn and do their best. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to chime in. I mean, I saw the whole viewpoint of a lot of people saying, "Oh, they shouldn't walk out." Right now, high school kids, school kids are the ones who are the most targeted through all these school shootings.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to stifle their voices?
Exactly.
You know, they're the ones getting shot at. Let them speak.
Yeah. That's really what it's all about. And, you know, but as parents, I mean, we get really emotional because we just don't know. We just, you know, we're assuming there he goes. He's going to have a great day.
Yeah.
And we're praying and hoping that at the end of the day we get to pick up our kids. That day and many other days that have passed, there have been families that has not been the case. And I think that's devastating.
And it's not enough to wait till it comes to your neighborhood, to your school, or even to wait till it affects you indirectly. Well, I have a friend that I know that lives in Florida that is kind of sort of affected. Then people become very like, oh, okay, now I want to get involved.
When it comes into your living room, that's when people react, and that's really selfish.
It's not good, people. We can't be like that because it just like it could happen there, it could happen anywhere. So don't wait for it to come to your front door, your school, your town, your whatever. We got to do something to stop it. And again, I'm going to say it again, I don't want to take everybody's guns away.
This is
not. I love my amendments. I love my Second Amendment. I love all of the amendments. I love the Constitution. I love all my rights. I don't want to take anything away, but we got to figure out a better way. We are all some of us are very intelligent. Some of us are not as intelligent, but we have very smart people that live in this world, and we all have to work together and figure it out. We got to figure out a solution. So I think it'll make a difference.
I just wanted to give a shout out. This Saturday, March 24th, the marchforourlives.com. You can go on there and you can find out where in your community and where in your area where this march is being held. So just go on their website, and it'll get, put in your state, your zip.
Marchforourlives.com.
You could put your zip code, state, and it'll kind of tell you where that or march is taking place. So
I would encourage everyone to go out as a family thing. Yes, we're going to try to participate and get out there. And what did I say? If you got to stand for something, or you will fall for anything.
And talk about it happens in your neighborhood. I just want to say this weekend, the horrible shooting at the Oaks Mall. The irony of it, we're in the car and I get a tweet that says Oaks Mall shooting, and I say to my husband, "Oh my goodness, there's a shooting at Oaks Mall." He goes, "Oh, that's another Oaks Mall." I was like, "Do you know another Oaks Mall? I mean, how many Oaks Mall?" He goes, "Yeah, that's not our that's not our mall." And I was like, "Really?" So I hit the tweet and opened it up, and sure enough, I was just there on Tuesday in the paper source.
Yes.
And I just paralyzed me. I just couldn't believe it. I said, "Oh my goodness, it doesn't matter where you live, folks. It's everywhere." I mean, I'm convinced. Now I look at everybody suspicious, like, "Do you have a gun? Do you have a gun? Why do you have a gun? Where are you walking around with a gun?" It was broad daylight. People are just shopping, enjoying a beautiful day on Saturday. And this man who obviously was not well went in and killed his ex-wife. It doesn't. So guns are an issue. Don't tell me.
And terror.
Guns
and terror is an issue this morning. I don't know if you guys heard. I heard briefly that there was a bombing in Austin.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was like the third.
Yeah, there was 3.
The delivery box. Yes.
So I feel like there's a lot of things going on, and we can't lose focus. I mean, yes, it could be worse, and there are other parts of the country that are, dealing with a lot of stuff, or this is a daily basis for them. But we can't let it get to that point. We got to figure out something else. A different way. So I also want to mention too, we had a great time yesterday.
Yes.
That's why I'm a little hoarse. You're a little hoarse. We made it here today, though.
Yes. We want to congratulate Inclusion Clubhouse, who did a lovely job yesterday at the Rio Lounge and Grill in Canoga Park. It's a celebrity karaoke. They were bringing awareness to cerebral palsy, and they did a lovely job doing it. And what I loved about the night, it wasn't just having celebrities get up there and sing karaoke. In the midst of every 2 celebrity performers, they had special needs, adults, different ability adults and young adults, teenagers performing. And they did a brilliant job. This one young man has a one-man show. got up there, suffers from Asperger's, and sang so beautifully. I mean, it was just a beautiful way to just include everybody.
Yes,
you
and
know, honor the differences and the disabilities, and just she did a really good job. Her daughter has cerebral palsy, and she was turning 20, so she turned it into a birthday party, awareness celebration, and it was well done. So congratulations, Hall family and Inclusion Clubhouse.
Yes, and you can still go on their website.
And learn
donate.
more and be a part of what it is that she's trying to do, and you can see all that on there. But that was fun. So that's why we were a little hoarse. We weren't out late. We were just singing, screaming and singing with everybody that was singing. So we had a little fun, and that was good. We have a picture up on our Instagram, I believe, so you could see us all dressed up. Felicia was in her 90s garb.
Yes, I was. I was all 90s up, guys. That's my era. Listen, I love me some 1990s.
I know. So, that was fun.
For me.
That was really, really fun. But today,
yes,
we have a very powerful show.
Yes.
And I'll have to say, I'm just going to say how I kind of got introduced to this. A friend of ours, a friend of the show and mine, Laura Ceron. Thank you, Laura, for sent me a text and said, hey, I think you guys would really benefit from learning and showcasing and interviewing folks who are in part of this really powerful movement called #SheDoes. And so we did. Our associate producer reached out to you, and we were fortunate enough to get you here, Claudia online, and Bobbi Joe stuff here.
Yes, so welcome. Let's do formal introductions. Mr. Mel, are you going to go for it?
No, I already forgot how to say it. So you can, Mr. Mel.
Tillekeratne.
Yes,
him.
Yes, we're going to call him Mr. Mel, the founder and executive director of Monday Night Missions. Is that based in Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley?
It's actually based. It operates on Skid Row.
Yes, every Monday downtown.
Monday through Friday, actually.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Incredible. Yeah.
From what's the time?
So basically, as far as for volunteers, we meet up at 7:30 to prep and make sandwiches and whatnot. We actually do outreach on Skid Row from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. Perfect. And then in studio, we've got Miss Bobbi Joe Stuff. That's her last name.
That is her name.
And you are a volunteer.
Yes.
That is with the organization. And on the phone, we still have, hopefully, Miss Claudia Perez, founder and executive director of LA on Cloud 9. Claudia, are you still there with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
And I just wanted to let everybody know, and these will be on our website as well. The She Does movement has a website, and it's www.shedoesmovement.org.
Yes.
And Claudia has a website, www.laoncloud9, the number 9.org.
Yes.
So those will be on our Instagram and all our social media platforms, so you can
go
on their
Facebook
websites
page
and find out all about what they're doing.
Yes.
So thank you guys for being here. This is
Yes,
going to be
we're going to give you
powerful
a
conversation.
applause.
Oh, it's a little applause.
Yes. Yes. Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome to the table,
I know.
everyone.
Okay, so I'm just going to start out, asking Mel, how and why did you start Monday Night Missions? Because and then did it spill into the She Does? Was that why you said, okay, wait a minute, there are women on the streets more than I care to see?
Right.
So explain to us how that got birthed.
It's Monday Night Mission, singular. Started on a Monday night. Basically, what it was me coming home on a Monday night, new to downtown LA, and making a left instead of a right on 6th Street. Next thing you know, 1 a.m, driving through Skid Row. And for a person who'd lived in the west side of LA for 7 years and never really been exposed to homelessness, that Monday night was just basically all of a sudden, okay,
in your face.
Here's
Really?
tents. Here's
And
people.
this is the first time that you're seeing like the Skid Row area.
That was the first time I actually drove through Skid Row.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was shocking. Just saw it and figured that, to be honest, felt guilty. Living on the west side, living in Santa Monica, everywhere, you don't see it. And I did everything as growing up and going to school at Santa Monica College, the parties, everything, and just like anyone in LA, you talk about changing things, but then, wait a minute, this is a hill that exists 30 minutes from where I live.
Right.
And I've let it continue for so long, and why didn't I know anything about it? And then it was we need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how long ago was that? So you were living in the West Side area for about 7 years, and then you drive through this. What Monday night is this? What year is this?
This was 7 years ago.
7 years
Just
ago.
about 7 years
Wow.
ago, yeah.
Okay.
So you just decided on your own, I'm going to make sandwiches and
So no, it was never alone. So the
Okay.
first night when I saw it, I went and got 10 sandwiches from a McDonald's and gave it out. And then, saw all these people come out. But then afterwards, I reached out to a couple of friends and coworkers, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this. I need some help.
okay.
People said yes. So
Wow.
the first night was just like 4 people. It was again a Monday night. That's why we called it Monday night.
So did you
Mission.
wait till the following Monday, or did you go
Yes.
back Tuesday night?
No, we went
Wait to the
the
following
following
Monday.
Monday,
Okay.
and then went with two of my friends and two of my coworkers. And when we came back, they were like, the need is massive. We need to do something. So
Yeah.
we're like, we need to do something consistent.
Right.
So started on a Monday night, but then very soon we progressed from Monday night to Monday through Friday night.
Wow.
Wow.
So then when did you transition to the She Does movement? At what point did you go, oh my goodness?
That's a little bit of a long answer. So one of the things is after I'd say around 2.5 years ago, we really know. I mean, we all see an increase in homelessness.
Right.
But 2.5, 3 years ago, we saw this explosion of people on Skid Row and everywhere.
Oh, really?
And what happened was, from prison early release to everything, you see all these young men who get released onto Skid Row. And it was the younger population growing. And the first thing we noticed was, with the younger population of homelessness rising, the older population started to get picked on.
Oh,
You're in a
interesting.
very small area and there's a
Right.
concentration of people.
Right.
And, there's limited resources. So first, you're going to get the resources you have from them.
Right, right.
Second, a lot of the people have issues. A lot of people are frustrated, angry because there's no resources.
Right.
They pick on the older population. And then slowly with that, we definitely noticed a lot of our older women who are homeless getting beaten up. We also saw that with that explosion of, a higher number of men on Skid Row and anywhere else in LA, sex trafficking started going through the roof.
Wow.
And-
And you're seeing all this like firsthand, just as a volunteer.
If you're on Skid Row enough, you're going to see everything.
Wow.
Like we take a lot of volunteers, and even on a first night, some of our volunteers have seen hell. And it's it's one of those things, like unless you make it a point to go there and take a look at it, you're not going to see it. But if you do go to Skid Row, especially at night, you're going to see everything. I mean, drug deals in the open, prostitution in the open, people getting beat up in the open, everything. I mean, drive-by shootings, like everything. And now it's not just focused to Skid Row, it's everywhere in LA.
Yeah.
So we saw how women were affected by this, by that increase in population. And then around, I think it was actually 2 months ago, I saw the lead up to the Women's March. So I see the lead up to the Women's March, and I see the march, planned through the streets of Broadway, Los Angeles. And then one of my friends reached out to me, and they're like, oh, by the way, Mel, did you know Mayor Garcetti is going to speak at the march? And I'm like, oh, hold up a second. This is a women's march. Why is Mayor Garcetti going to speak? So that kind of ticked me off a bit.
Yeah. You could
So
say it pissed you off.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting, and I'm at home, and
Yeah.
I'm at work the day of the march, and you see everyone marching up, talking about
Yeah.
Me Too, talking about sex, like everything.
Yeah, we were
all
there.
These,
Yeah,
all
we
these,
We had our hats on.
all these
all
issues,
hats
all
and
these
yes.
issues that are affecting women,
Right.
and you're walking past one of the biggest concentration of
Right.
homeless women,
Yeah.
and nobody says anything.
Well,
Yeah, it's so interesting,
interestingly
yeah.
enough, when we were walking, Felicia and I took a picture of the sign. It was a homeless woman who said, "What about the women on 8th and yada yada?"
Yeah.
And she was the homeless women on 8th, whatever
Yeah.
the street was.
Yeah.
What about them? You
Yeah.
know, them too, something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow. I took a picture and I said, okay, that's really.
It
like,
stopped us in like our tracks.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God. Like almost kind of like we forgot
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
And it was very Like,
And thank you for saying that, because that's the truth.
Yeah.
Saying we forgot about
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
the truth. So I was there, and then at the end of the march, someone told me that they uploaded Mayor Garcetti's speech onto his Facebook page and the Women's March page. And I'm looking at it, and he's saying things like, "Don't be a bystander. It's what you do today, not what you talk about today," and all of this. And I'm like, hold on a second, buddy. Like, you've been the mayor here for 5 years, and what have you done for homeless women in LA?
Yeah.
And what did you do to earn yourself to speak at that march? And who made it a
Amen.
point to give you that position? Who in the women's movement thought he would be a person who should talk there?
yeah.
Well, I mean,
think that's a very powerful.
okay, so
thing.
here's a
Yeah,
couple of
absolutely.
questions for you that I have. Speaking in general, you can speak to this too. When women are homeless on the street, it's either, and I'm asking, I'm not assuming, is it working poor? Is it drug addicted women? Is it mentally disabled women?
That's a very good question, Annette. Thanks for asking
Yeah.
that. So the history of homelessness in LA has been, the vast majority has been women who suffer from mental illness or substance abuse addiction.
Right.
But right now, a one-bedroom in LA costs $1,700.
Crazy.
What we are seeing is working women. I mean, last night I was at a 7-Eleven by my home, and this woman's talking, and she's talking about, at Target, they're only giving us 30 hours. So every Sunday, when I'm not on the schedule, I go there early and I hope to pick up a shift, because that's the only way I can cover my rent and, what I need to pay for my kids' bills.
Yeah.
This is
And
ridiculous.
Yeah.
so it's basically now 70 to 80% of the homeless, the population of homeless women are working women.
Yes.
And I also want you to think of this scenario. One of the things that's really increasing is the domestic violence in LA.
Yeah.
Why? Because, you get these women who are in an abusive relationship,
Yep.
and they want to leave, and now they're like, wait a minute,
Where
if
am
I
I gonna
leave, where am I going to go?
So let me ask you this, and I'm asking because I'm not familiar. I've read as much as I could. There are a lot of shelters, and I think I read somewhere women don't feel safe in these shelters. So they rather be on the street, or they rather be in a tent or in their car. Is that true?
Great question, Annette. Again, first
I'm
off,
just full of them today.
first off, there are a lot of shelters, but historically, Skid Row, LA have made shelters for men because that's been the vast population
Yes,
of
Right.
people.
that's
Right.
true.
But just so you get an idea for what the reality is, San Gabriel Valley is a huge area, right? San Gabriel Valley has 7 beds for women.
7. That's it.
7.
Shame on you,
Wow.
St. Gabriel.
But it's not just San Gabriel Valley, it's everywhere else. All
Yeah.
the shelters on Skid
Yeah.
Row that were designed for men are making room for women. It's not like, we have the Downtown Women's Center as a shelter, and they do amazing work. But
there's only
that's
so much
just
they
one.
can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, by official count, we have 18,000 homeless women in the county of LA. 18,000. Official count.
Right. That's
Actual-
official. Yeah. That's people that have gone in maybe to process or into a shelter or something like that. But
Exactly.
you've got so many more people. Like, I want to just quickly jump in and talk about where you were over the weekend about that family that passed away. That was
Yes.
was it in
Orange
their
County.
van?
It was Garden Grove, Orange
yeah,
County.
Yeah. And so those people are not accounted for. So maybe sometimes the people that you see
Right.
under the freeways or living out on the outskirts of the city, those people are not accounted for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that's a great point, because you said you just dropped off your kid at school. Now, the Office of Education for the County of LA did a count at the end of 2016. They found 63,000 kids who were recognized as homeless.
Really?
So for a second, if you think there's 63,000 homeless kids, there's got to be 63,000 at least single parents.
Yes.
You hope
So
Right. Yes.
a homeless count is wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
and another thing is, when a lot of women become homeless, they bounce from couch to couch.
Right.
Right?
Right.
What we hear now a lot of the times is basically they were bouncing off a couch, and the person who was giving them the couch thought, oh, you know what? I've been letting you sleep on my couch. Now you owe me something. That's where the
Yep.
sex assault comes in.
Interesting.
We're
Yeah.
treated like vending machines. Literally,
Wow.
I'm going to put love in you, and now sex needs to drop out, or
Wow.
some sort of act needs to drop out, and it's not okay.
Now, I want to ask you, you volunteer with
Yes.
She Does Movement. How did you hear about it?
Yeah.
So I heard about it from the Monday Night Mission. I went down to Monday Night Mission. I've been working.
Okay, how did you hear about the Monday Night Mission?
Facebook, of course. Everything's
wow.
on Facebook.
Excellent.
I was looking for a home because I like to volunteer. I've had my own personal experiences, and I've worked with women and children, particularly at crisis centers in Florida, where I'm from.
Okay.
And I've seen how I can firsthand experience tell you, if you have a separate space for women where they feel safe and they feel sheltered, they're going to thrive so much more
Yeah.
than being in an area where you're literally afraid all of
That's
the time.
incredible.
It's not part of the time. It's like you feel like you don't deserve anything. And if you've been abused, you already feel like everything's been taken from you. And in a lot of cases, everything has been taken from you.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is so important. And then, so I went to Monday Night Mission. I saw some really powerful things. I met some incredible people like White Boy, who's down there. And he's such a positive entity, you know? And I personally struggle with my mental health and severe mental illness. And I know that if you get the help you need and you really deserve, it's possible to be not only like a citizen of the society, but a very important citizen who understands things a lot differently than other people.
Firsthand.
Yeah. And so you have to be that voice, and it's terrifying. Even for me right now, I have bad anxiety. Even when we spoke at the city council meeting last week, I had a pretty massive panic attack after it, because everything inside of me is telling me I need to shut up. Honestly, shut up and don't talk. But I'm not going to shut up. Somebody needs to talk. And Mel is very inspiring. Anybody who's ever has the time to go, or doesn't have the time, make the time. Go down to Monday Night Mission and hear what he has to say, because he has very important things to say, especially for LA. I'm not super aware of all of the things that's going on with LA homelessness, but I'm still here and I want to learn more. I want to help.
Now, Claudia,
to you.
You're on the line. Thank you for hanging with us. Tell us a little bit about your background, and how did you get connected with She Does? And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I've been working together with Mel for the past 5 years now, and started LA on Cloud 9 in 2013. It wasn't like by myself either. It was inspired by my own personal struggles with homelessness and, my own drug addiction. And I started, giving back to the community and helping others who are on the same path I was back when I was going through my own struggles. And just working together with Mel. And then when Mel, started the She Does movement, it was something that I was like relieved, I should say, because, with my own, personal experiences with sexual assault and with rape, I was like, yes, thank God, something that we need to talk about, something that needs to be put out there and shine the light on women who are homeless and being sexually trafficked and raped and stuff, and violence on the street. So
how did you find your way? How did you get out of homelessness? How did you become sober?
Well, it was through many ways. The main reason was my husband. I met him during the time that I was going through my homeless struggles, and he pretty much pushed me to do better, and pulled me out of the homeless crisis that I was going through. And a couple of friends who gave me their couch and gave me their living room, and who also pushed me on the right direction. That was pretty much what I did. I almost lost my kids to the system because of my status, how I was back then. And it was a reality wake-up call for me to, I should say, to get my shit together.
And so you started LA on
Cloud9.
Cloud9.com. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think there's like a unique component to that.
Well, like I said, LA on Cloud 9 started in 2013 with, like I said, through my own personal struggles, and then friends, my friend Karina, who was always on the phone with me, you got to do this, let's do it together. You have the energy to do it, you have the story to do it, you have the background to do it, and 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 it just started that way. It just snowballed to what it is right now, and a lot of people who are part of LA on Cloud 9 have their personal stories and reasons why they volunteer and help women and men and children on the streets.
One thing I do want to kind of jump in and talk about LA on Cloud 9 about is, in the 7 years I've been doing this, you always see these groups pop up and say, and start to do outreach for the homeless. And I actually am very critical of those groups because a lot of these groups, they see this crisis, they come out and say, oh, we're going to give out sandwiches. And my question to them is like, how is sandwiches going to solve homelessness?
Right.
Don't get me wrong, we are appreciative. The people on the streets
Well, and that's how
appreciate.
you started out too.
Yeah, they appreciate the need, for food. But right now, the need isn't food. The need is shelter.
It's bigger. It's
And
bigger
they-
than just
Correct.
sandwiches.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing about LA on Cloud 9 is not just with cheetahs. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, we were like, we need to declare emergency on homelessness.
Right.
We're going to drive up to Sacramento. And, all these guys from LA on Cloud 9 were like, okay, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
And, even with the cheetahs movement, like from LA on Cloud 9, Liz Dominguez Phillips, Renee Solis, Carla Serrano, Kimberly Dalton. They want change. They
Yes.
don't want to give a sandwich. They
Right.
want
Yes.
change. And these guys want to do something where,
Correct.
how do we stop this when there's so many other groups out there and their whole focus is, oh, we give a sandwich.
Right.
And they give one sandwich
yeah.
and they take 10 photos.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do anything beyond
Right,
that.
right. So they want to continue just coming. Okay, so this is a good question then.
Well, when we're on the streets, it's that's what we stress on now is
Right.
to find out, the women's stories and to see what we can do in our part to even just comfort. We don't
Right.
just go to encampments and just drop off a bag and
Right.
keep going.
To
The
go that
conversation
extra mile and to figure out what is it that you can do to help. So then the bigger question is, at
Exactly.
what point
Exactly.
did you say, this is a question for Mel, okay, my sandwiches that we're coming here, first you started on Mondays and then you started going through Monday through Fridays and you're like, okay, at what point does
Yeah.
my sandwiches are not enough, that we need to make a bigger change? And I think that's the bigger question also too that I want to talk about is that I think where people get frustrated is they want to do the activism, they get there and then they feel like they hit this brick wall, which is politics. And this is where it gets real tricky and very exhausting.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have to have a tenacity for it, and some people, if you just don't know. So what gave you that encouragement to push on and to go on and say, it's not just sandwiches. We got to move forward, like you said.
Actually, it was to a point that one thing happened that kind of propelled me to be, okay, we need to give out more food because at that point, nobody was giving out food at night on Skid Row.
Right.
And also we need more change. And that was one night we were there and we're waiting and we ran out of food. And I was okay with that back then. I'm like, okay, we ran out of food, no big deal. And this older African-American lady comes along. She's like 50 years old. And she keeps saying, Pepsi challenge, Pepsi challenge, Pepsi challenge. We're like, the hell are you talking about? And
Yeah.
she's like, she looked at our food. We're like, sorry, we don't have food.
Yeah.
She went in, she picked up this plate that was turned upside down, picked it up, and started eating some pasta out of it that was on the street. And at that point, I'm like, that's a way bigger issue than hunger here. I mean, yes, there's poverty, there's hunger. But what's the backdrop? Why is there no resources? Why is there no resources for the people who have an addiction? I mean,
Right.
if you try to get help for an addiction in LA, unless you can afford passages in Malibu,
Right.
you're done.
Right.
They'll tell you,
Right.
you got to come back in 4 weeks. Or they'll tell you got to come to an outpatient program.
Right.
For people who've been chronically on drugs or even alcohol for a long time,
Right.
you're going to die if you stop,
Right.
away.
Right.
So you need programs. So
Right.
when we saw it, we're like, okay, there's a bigger need. And another thing that really hit me was one night we were on Skid Row and we had a group of 35 volunteers, and all of a sudden our volunteers go quiet. And I looked to the street and there's this woman walking, older white lady. She's in a hospital gown with a white hospital bracelet on her left hand. And that's not what stopped our volunteers. What stopped them was the bottom of her feet, she wasn't wearing any shoes or anything, were bright red and bloody because she'd been walking over and over and over because she was mentally ill. She couldn't come up with one single coherent sentence. She couldn't tell us what her name was. And someone at one of our psychiatric hospitals decided, you know what?
Gotta go.
You gotta go, and it's not even that. Our psychiatric hospitals were caught dumping people on Skid Row. So these things showed us, okay, this is not about food.
Yeah.
This is about getting people off the streets. Now, what's the solution to homelessness? Pretty simple. Homes. We agree with that. We need housing, but in the backdrop of how long it takes to build housing, we got these 30,000 women on the streets of LA.
63,000 children.
They are exposed to the temperatures. I mean, you know, people are like, oh, you know, they see the rain and they're like, we need to give out blankets. We need to. You don't think about it. What you know what the military does to break soldiers? They put you in the cold. They put you in cold water. And we have all these people outside in the rain in 40-degree weather. You break, that's it. You don't need to do drugs or anything to break. You do drugs to survive. I find people who told me, hey, Mel, I was sober for a week. Last night it dropped to 45 degrees. I had to do it because I thought I was going to die.
Wow.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think there's such an aversion to homelessness? I just feel like people it's not my problem. You drive by and it's just there. I'm
going to let them think about that question. Yeah. Because we need to take
a break. We need to do our second. Sorry, I was just doing our second.
Sorry to break your train of thought.
sponsor.
So just think about that question.
Yes,
as we do our little commercial break.
Yes, today's show. Excuse me. Today's show has also been brought to you by Inclusion Clubhouse, a not-for-profit organization that provides social and recreational activities for those with different special needs and their siblings while offering support to the family as a whole. They exist to create a space that is truly all-inclusive and accessible for children, teens, and young adults of all abilities. Inclusion Clubhouse will help create a more inclusive community. Visit them at www.inclusionclubhouse.org. www.inclusionclubhouse.org. Thank you.
.org. So you want to ask your question real quick one more time?
Yes. Like what is our aversion to homelessness? Why do we just turn a blind eye? I mean, I go downtown every once in a blue moon. My husband's showroom is down there. You know, we exist down there.
I'm going to answer that real quick for you. For mine, I feel, and I guess I was speaking out of experience when I was like this brick wall, because I feel like I've taken my kids down. We've gone to downtown several times, and at a certain point I was like, I'm tired of coming down here just for fun things, or going to the museum, or going to the, Staples Center, because that's all the fun and good. And they need to see the flip side of it. And so we've driven during the day several different times. And for me, I just feel like it's such a big thing. Like, I'm like, I don't know where to start. It's very overwhelming. And I feel like, how do you help all these people? And it devastates me to the point of like, okay, I don't know what else to do. So I'm just going to continue on with my life. And I don't know, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but that's just me in my personal answering. And I don't like it. I don't like that I feel that way, but that's just an honest answer.
You know, this is a conversation I've had multiple times with one of our, staunch fighters for Shidas, Nazareth Ramirez. And one of the things that Nazareth always says is like, if you grew up in LA, this is something you grew up with.
Right.
So just from the get-go, you're desensitized.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a big problem, but it's a big problem because nobody really tried to chip away at it. We had politicians try to do it, but no movement from LA. And one of the things I do want to reach out to the whole Me Too community and say, this is why you need to address this first foremost.
Yes.
As long as you get junior high school, middle school boys walking past and seeing battered women in tents, seeing women being prostituted, you're never going to change that mindset of kids to women should not be objectified.
Yeah.
We need to stop that first. We are desensitized. You walk out the door anywhere now, West LA, downtown.
In the valley, it's migrating to the valley as well. It's in my valley in Ventura. I mean,
there are
it's
homeless
everywhere.
people everywhere.
Yeah, but I think it's more. It's more. I think it's more in your face. Like you thought if you moved out to Ventura, or you're in Thousand Oaks, or you're in these lovely little neighborhoods, that it's not going to be there, and it's there. It is very much there.
We shouldn't be running away from it, first of all.
No, I'm not saying you're running away. I'm just saying people move that way just to get away. They want to be in a better community. They want to be in a safer community.
But people have to get out of that mindset, too. You need to go into a good community, but you also need to be like, okay, I'm in this community, but let's make the whole entire city where we live a better place.
We have to stop the stigma. There's a stigma not only in LA, in this country.
Yes.
I've seen it in Florida and everything that homeless people, it's their fault.
Right.
And
Right.
that they're just violent criminals and that they have mental illness and that their mental illness makes them crazy and like they're not worth anything to society essentially. So we're just going to pretend we don't see it. Or a lot of stuff that happens in Florida that I heard was, well, they're lying. They're lying, they're panhandling. There's a video online of a woman who went back to her car, and I was like, you don't know if she lives in that car.
Right, right,
You don't
right.
know if that's her life in that car. Like, don't judge people if you
Yeah.
don't know their situation.
Yeah.
Really educate yourself. If this is your point of view, I'm begging you to please educate yourself.
Change it. Yes.
So
yeah.
before, I don't want to run out of time without asking this question. The She Does movement, what is the ultimate goal?
So, thank you. So, the ultimate goal, that's the first goal. The ultimate goal of the She Does movement is to make sure that we have shelters that are safe
Okay.
and able to care for our women.
So resources.
Exactly. But no, the thing is, why don't women want to go into shelters? You can ask even Claudia. All the times we take a woman to a shelter, most of the times you go there, there's always a fight going on as even before you enter the gates. The shelters are crowded. You're
And
looking
these are
at
co-ed shelters. Or let's go back.
even if
when you say
there's-
shelter, are they mostly co-ed? Are there
Mostly-
some all women? all men?
mostly co-ed, but even in the co-eds, the women are separate. But still, even if you go to a women's shelter and you see cots within 2 feet of each other,
Right.
you're not gonna go.
Right.
You can't work, go to sleep in a shelter
Right.
when there's so many people, so much noise.
Right.
So
It's better. You think it's better to go in your car? But go ahead, sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want the city of LA to not only just implement new shelters,
Right.
we want them to come up with shelters that are accommodating for each for their individual needs. And what I mean by that is this. Right now, all our shelters are general population.
Okay.
We desperately need shelters for women over 62 years old. Because with age, with having access to bathrooms, that is a definite need that we need. Second, we need specific shelters for women who are working, who don't have substance abuse or any other
Right.
apparent issues, because if you're working the next day, you need to get a good night of sleep.
Right.
Second, just like to avoid the 4 people who died in a car, the 2 babies who died in a car last week.
Tragic.
We need shelters for women with kids. We need shelters for women with pets, and that's very important. When I
Right.
first why give up your pet? No.
Right.
A lot of these women who've been through abuse, who've been through trauma, their pets were the ones that got them through it.
Right.
They're not going to
Right.
say no to their pet.
Right.
So we need shelters that'll accommodate pets.
Yeah.
So we need more shelters, but we need it done right. We don't want the whole cattle shelters or
Right.
whatnot.
Right.
We need shelters that people are not going to be afraid to go to. We need shelters that you're not going to be among 300 people. We need shelters that are clean. When you get too many people, you're never going to keep them
Right.
clean.
Right.
So we need more shelters. We need housing, but until then, to make sure that this population is safe, specifically our women, we need more safer shelters where they can feel comfortable and protected.
So that would be like a temporary shelter is what you're asking for, like right at this moment.
Absolutely. Our first goal, we need Mayor Garcetti to open 1,000 beds in multiple shelters by August.
Okay.
If we have 30,000 people, homeless
Yeah.
women in this county,
Yes.
we need to at least have 1,000 by August. That's the first goal. And the second thing is, if you think that is too much of an obstacle, then forget having the Olympics. You can't have the Olympics if you can't get 1,000
Yeah.
women into shelter in
Yes.
5
Yeah.
That
months.
should be very
Exactly.
doable for the city of Los Angeles and all the people that live here and the millions of dollars that we have swirling around this city. Listen, there was a charity event that I'm not going to speak on too much that people paid a lot of money
Yeah.
for in Beverly Hills, and y'all need to take that money and put it to good use instead of
Yeah.
trying to put this person back in the White House. That's all I'm going to say about that. But there's a lot of money in this city.
Yes.
And that's what pisses me off about the city of Los Angeles is that we have money and resources and people, I feel like, just piss it away.
But it's not only that. We talk a big game. We
Yeah.
talk a big game as
Yeah.
if we are the forefront of humanity
Yeah.
for this country, and yet we should be embarrassed that we are.
Yes. That we have the situation.
Yeah, that we have this situation
Yeah.
this bad, this
Yeah.
dire.
Yeah, and I didn't realize. I feel badly dropping the ball that I didn't even really realize it. And like I said, we just forgot about it in the women's march and the women's
Yeah.
movement, and you don't think about it as deeply as it's just something so simple as having a separate shelter for people who are working,
Yeah,
as
the working
opposed to
poor.
people who have other issues, and then families. And then, because what is it going to take? Is it going to take more families to have to pass away in their vehicles? The family in the Joshua Tree area, their children were taken away from them because, there was this whole, the media can blow it up and say, sensationalize it and compare them to the 13 kids that were found and all that other kind of stuff. And those are two very different things, but there's a problem, and I think it's fixable. I feel like it's fixable. Do you feel like it's fixable?
Absolutely.
It's a lot of
But
work.
what you said is absolutely right. Like, you admitted that, when you had the Women's March, you forgot about homeless women.
Yeah.
The women who had the Women's March, they try to fight us and say, oh, no, you can't say this, that. No, we need to embrace the fact that we've let this whole population go. Not just the population, our community.
Yeah.
If we embrace it and if we understand, okay, we let this go too long, now's the time, that's what needs to change.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make things change. First, let's get our women off the streets.
Yes.
Once we do that, then we can go on to our senior
Yeah.
men, and then we can fix this city. But the first thing is to embrace the problem and understand
Recognize it.
we've
Call it
let
what it
this
is.
go.
Yes.
This is our responsibility, but now it's our responsibility to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the hashtag She Does, what is that doing?
So what we came up with, She Does, is to bring that awareness, bring people to embrace the fact that these are our women. First, we used it directly to target Mayor Garcetti to get his attention. We got his attention.
Okay.
They're actually appropriating money towards shelters, but they are so far behind on what they need to do. And this is not just Mayor Garcetti. This is, our homeless services departments, our counties, our council members.
Yeah.
They
It's
need
you
to come
listening.
up.
Yes.
They need to come up with plans on where we can have shelters. They can't just say,
Right.
a lot of these people say, oh, I'm for helping homeless people. That's fine. Give us a location where we can put a shelter.
Right.
Give us a location where we
Right.
can build housing. Without that, you're just talking.
Okay.
Right.
So give us some ideas of what people can do that might be listening, that have children at home that are too young to go and actually physically be in the streets and volunteer, but they want to do something. So you said it starts like maybe at the city council. Like, is there somewhere that we can call if someone says, okay, I'm going to call the mayor's office. This is my city. I'm a voting citizen. I want to go and do something. I'm going to call the mayor's office. Is there a department that they call and say, is it the social services department? Is there like a homeless department within our city that people can go to and flood and say, what do we need? What do we need to get this process
So the
going?
great thing about it is we came this far through social media. So one of the first things, use the hashtag She Does.
Okay.
Use it. Create awareness. If you're listening, there's a lot of people who don't know. Use that hashtag. Go to the website, shedoesmovement.org. Let's get the word going. Every couple of weeks, we keep an event.
Okay.
Whether it be writing to a council person, whether it be going to a council person's office.
Okay.
Those are easy things. We'll give you a template. Copy, paste, email. Pretty simple. Make one phone call. Council member Martinez, we want you to open a shelter for sex trafficking victims in your neighborhood. Simple things like that.
Okay.
It looks like a big problem, but if we got this far, if the mayor's office appropriated 15 million towards sheltering women because of the She Does movement in 2 months of work, it's not a big problem. It's something we can tackle.
We can get
Right.
it done. We can get it solved. Yeah.
So
Very
when
good.
someone reaches out to the She Does movement, are you guys taking funds? Are you just bringing awareness? And are you collecting money?
Right now, we're not taking funds, but
Okay.
soon we're going to do it. It is more or less on awareness.
Okay.
I mean, we are not just Monday Night Mission or LA on Cloud9. We have Polly's Project, Operation Safe Street, Operation Healthy Hearts, A Million Drops, a lot of nonprofits that do our work. But through the She Does movement, it's about creating awareness and political advocacy.
Right.
So we are going to start fundraising pretty soon towards that. But for right now, just follow us on social media.
Great.
Help us get the word out.
Claudia, are you still there? Is she still?
Yes, I'm here.
A
I'm
quick
here.
question: what would you like the listener and the viewer to know about women on the street? Since that was, I mean, both of you can answer to that.
Yeah.
Both Bobbi and Claudia.
Yeah, I think Mel covered it all. You know, a lot of the women on the street are scared to go into shelters, are scared to be on the streets. But what can they do? You know, besides be on the streets, and that's pretty much what Mel said. We need more shelters that are appropriate for the different type of cases we have for women who lose their job and for women who are sexually trafficked, and the more we wait, the worse it's going to get, and we're going to just need more shelters for the women who are sexually trafficked.
Well,
And what about you, Bobby?
I believe, and that's why I'm here, she does deserve shelter, and she does deserve protection from this city, and immediately. It needs to happen now, not tomorrow, because tonight. People are getting hurt, people are getting raped, murdered. Like, it's not okay.
What people don't realize is that, and I'll speak this to a personal experience. When I lived in San Fernando Valley, there was a trailer parked near my house, and it was a wife and a little girl. I mean, a mom and her daughter, and I see them every day coming and going, and I'm like, what are they doing there? They didn't. The trailer didn't bother me. I was concerned about the child, and so I called the Department of Children and Welfare, and the lady on the phone said to me, "Is the child dirty? Does she look malnourished? Does she look unkept?" I said, No. She says, "Then you don't want to separate that family. She's probably homeless. She's probably running from someone. If we go there, we're going to remove that child from the mother who's probably protecting her from something." And so she says, I wouldn't report it, she told me, because it's that mother's going to have a hard time trying to get that child back because she doesn't have a home. And so I didn't. I just said, okay, I'll take matters into my own hands. I befriended her. I gave her stuff. And she's like, oh, do you mind that I'm here? And I said, no, I just want you to be okay. I want you to know that if you're cold at night, ring my bell. You're on my we're on my property line. You can come in. And the little girl was going to school every single day, the elementary school down the street. She would take her to school, ride her bike. They would go into Burger King and the McDonald's right in the corner, shower. That's where they showered and changed. She would go after school to the library and wait for her mother to come from work. And then they would eat at McDonald's. They would freshen up there and go to the trailer. The trailer moved, and I panicked. I was like, where did my little family go? And I found them during Christmas season, and I gifted them some stuff that I thought, the little girl would enjoy. And she said, thank you. She was so appreciative. And that's when I had an aha moment that I thought, not everybody on the street is there because they want to be on the street. This is not by choice. Homelessness is not by choice. It's either been put upon you. It's either working poor. It's either an abusive woman who's trying to protect, and these families really want to stay together. And she was so sweet. I don't know where she is now, but she left me a note in my mailbox, a beautifully written note. She told me her name, her daughter's name. That's how I found out, why they were in the trailer. And she said, thank you for not reporting us. We are just trying to make ends meet. And my daughter, she told me where she went to the school. Like, it wasn't anything that was bad. And I think we look at homeless people and we're like, oh, that's bad. They're doing something bad.
Well, I think there's a bigger issue.
And what
of
you did
judgment.
was notice them, and you noticed them, and you talked to them, and you didn't ignore the situation. And you didn't look the other way.
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that. We have to notice them, but in a real way, in a human way,
and not a judgmental way.
Right.
Like, I feel like our society is very judgmental, and it's very easy to fall into that judgment. Like you mentioned, people with their pets. I remember the first time that I saw a homeless person. This was many years ago. I was probably in my early 20s, and they had a pet. And I remember thinking, like, okay, if you're homeless, then and you can take care of a dog or this animal that you have with you, why can't you take care of yourself? And as I got older and more experience and life experience and wiser, I like to think, I began to really understand that this is part of your family. A pet is part of your family. And who am I to sit there and say, well, that's not good for you to be homeless and you can't take care of yourself and you can take care of a dog. You don't know what that person's situation is. So I think that's the first thing that we need to understand, is that we all as a society need to get over this judgment and understand that it could happen really to any of us. I mean, the mental illness is astounding, and a lot of people suffer from it. A lot of people don't realize they suffer from it.
Drug crisis,
and then you've got drug issues that go. So I feel like
it's
all very individual and specialized.
And the working poor is it's a real situation in the homelessness in downtown in San Fernando Valley. The working poor, it's real. It's a very real thing, and I think people don't realize that. Especially in LA County, this is a really big problem.
It is a huge problem when you look at places like Santa Monica, Malibu. A one-bedroom rents for over $3,000. But we have thousands of people who work there where do they go to sleep? Where do they go to live?
Yeah.
You know, even when you go to, like, you know, you can't work in Santa Monica and drive all the way from West Covina or the Riverside. Your gas bills are going to be more than apartment payment. So, you know, and another thing, you know, we really need to, you know, embrace the fact that we need to fix our housing too,
Yes.
affordable
Yes.
housing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can't just say, oh, you know, you can work in my community, but you have to drive all the way
2 hours.
2 hours away.
Yes.
Right.
You know, these are people.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
hardworking people.
Yeah. It's a greed issue. To me, that's what
Yeah.
it comes down to. It's a greed issue. That's why we had this real estate bubble and busting and blah, blah, blah. Like, stop it, people. You don't need to have a $3 million house. You don't need your property value to be that high. We all need to be in this together, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all here with
Yeah.
each other. And yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Mel. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Claudia, for bringing this conversation and just having such a loud voice and
Yes.
yelling it from the mountaintops. I feel like, you know, we need to start yelling this from the mountaintops. And
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming on the show. And we're getting so many comments that I can't
Yeah.
read them all. But
So
just
I think the
bringing
first thing
awareness.
to know is that we're going to go to your website. So
Yes.
that's the first and foremost thing to start. Go there
and
get some
hashtag
res-
she does. Hashtag she
get some
does. hashtag-
resources,
yeah.
and then you're taking volunteers, because the Monday night missions, that's Monday through Friday, but you also do accept volunteers and stuff.
We have Monday Night Mission. We have the Shower of Hope. We have LA on Cloud 9. We have Polly's Project. We have Operation Healthy Hearts. We have A Million Drops. If you want to volunteer, we can put you into
Yeah.
3 places at the same time on the same day.
Yeah.
So just reach out to us. We always need help.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
And do
awesome.
anything, just
Yeah.
something, just get moving, get informed, get involved.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I think it'll evolve from there.
Yes. So thank you
Thank
all
you
for
so
being
much.
Thank
here.
you for having
We
us.
hope
Thank
you've
you.
been
Thank you.
Thank you
informed,
for having us.
educated, and
Absolutely.
entertained. Catch us next Monday on LA Talk Radio, and let us know what you think. Have a great rest of the week.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're listening to Table for Five with Felicia and Annette, only on LA Talk Radio.